In the last 90 days, I've generated close to 1.5 million impressions organically on LinkedIn. In this process, I generated thousands of quality leads into our pipeline, booked close to 100 sales calls organically. And in this video and in this training, I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. So I'm going to go over the best LinkedIn lead gen strategy for 2025. So if you're watching this and you're a coach, consultant, and agency owner, if you're in the position that, okay, LinkedIn is something that I need to get started on, but I keep failing, then this training is for you. Because in this training, I'm going to give you the repeatable system for turning LinkedIn into a client pipeline. Everything in this document is tested. It's used by real business owners that we've been working with, and we've generated over $1.55 million in revenue. So in this training, I'm going to go over three main topics. I'm going to show you exactly how to optimize your LinkedIn profile so that it attracts and converts the right prospects. I'm going to go deep into content. So with the framework that we use here is the 40-40-40 playbook that positions you as the authority you are and drives inbound leads. And last but not least, I'm going to show you the exact examples we use in the 7-step DM framework to go from conversations into calls without coming across as salesy. So let's get started. So the first part is, of course, your LinkedIn profile. So your LinkedIn profile is not just a digital resume, but it's a sales process that converts profile visitors into leads. And if it's not structured properly, you're definitely missing out on a lot of leads on a daily basis. So when we're optimizing a profile, we want to, of course, start with the headline. So the headline is what you see under your name. It's like the first thing that someone sees when they get to your profile. So here what you want to do is you want to address your audience pain point and the outcome of your service. So as you can see, what I do is we're helping business owners hit 10K plus months consistently with your Authority Figures Blueprint. DM me AFB to get started. So what is important when you're putting your headline together? Well, first of all, you want to use keywords. So think about what your target audience would search LinkedIn for. So if you're a finance professional, or if you're a personal trainer, or you're a marketing agency owner, what is the thing your target audience searches LinkedIn for? So put that in there. You want to be specific, so clearly state what you do and the results you achieve, so no fluff. You want to highlight your unique approach, so what is something that you do that makes you different from competitors and the rest of the market. Make sure to focus on benefits and not just on features. And you really want to make sure that you optimize for mobile, because most mobiles, they cut the headline around like 60 to 70 characters when you see a headline on the feed. So you want to make sure that it's enticing enough for someone to click on your headline. So that's step number one, optimizing your headline. Secondly, what we want to do is we want to optimize your banner, because the banner is something they see when they get to your profile. You want to make it crystal clear who you help and how you help them, because that allows you to just give in one impressions and very clear, concise, that the thing that you can help them with. So be clear, concise, clearly state what you help your clients achieve. Make sure, again, to highlight key benefits. So like in our example, the key benefit, of course, of the program that we run is to get to 10K plus months on LinkedIn. So that's very prominent in there. Include emotion, so you can either focus on pain points, your audience faces, and how you solve them. Use brand colors. As you can see, my brand colors on LinkedIn all across are purple. So it's really recognizable for people. They often tell me like, hey, I don't even see your name, but I do see your brand and your color. So I know that's content of yours. And in your in your banner, you want to make sure that there's a call to action, which makes it very easy for someone that gets to your profile to know exactly what to do next. Like, it sounds obvious, but you really want to tell them what to do next, not just assume that they know what to do next, or whether it's booking a call, download a resource, sending you a message, and so forth. Then to your profile picture. So this, again, first impressions definitely matter. So what you want to do is you want to find a recent high quality photo with good lighting. You want to dress appropriately for your industry. So an example I often make is, let's say you're a performance coach and you work with high achieving individuals, but you're not wearing a suit, but on LinkedIn you show you with a suit. Your clients might get a weird vibe from you, right? So as you can see, I'm not in a suit because I never wear a suit, but I'm a smart casual. And that's also like represented in the branding. As you can see, the purple is there as well. Smile and look approachable. And again, optional is to have your brand colors in there or some form of branding that it makes it very stand out on LinkedIn. So profile picture, very good. Don't overthink it. Make sure that it's high quality, good lighting, and you're dressed appropriately for your industry. Then we're going to go into the about section, and this is one of the most critical sections of your profile. And most people don't even go further than the first 2 lines because it's cut off. So you really want to make sure that you make them count, right? So how you want to structure your about section, it's the rule number 1 is that it's not necessarily about you, but it's about your audience. So what you want to do is you want to start with the dream outcome in mind. So address the goal your audience desires. As you can see here, the reason that the thing that I highlight is, of course, getting clients, because that's a problem we solve for our clients. You want to introduce your value proposition easily, like what makes your approach different. Well, I have that in here. Briefly describe your process, explain your method for achieving results, and include a call to action. Again, really make sure that it's clear for your audience what to do next, right? As you can see, send me a DM with the word AFP if you want more details. And here there are case studies as well, client results. And then we go on to our feature sections. So here we have the opportunity for us to include certain resources, certain next steps on our profile. So it allows you just to build trust and authority instantly. So what you want to do is you want to have 2 to 3 next steps for your audience, whether it's downloading a free guide, a free training, seeing some of the case studies, or getting access to a playbook. And all these things, of course, they have the lead take the next step into the process. And that's something you want to do. So in that case, your LinkedIn profile becomes a lead generator for the rest of your business. And that's the second to last one. And then number 6, this one is super underutilized. So on LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to build out a services page and add that to your LinkedIn profile. Most people ignore it, but it's one of the best ways to reinforce credibility. You have the opportunity, namely, to put 8 case studies or 8 videos in there. And as you can see, I've loaded that with 8 strong case studies from the clients that we work with, and just adds this extra credibility, because someone goes to my profile, they see the services, they see the rankings, they see what I do, testimonies from other people, they see video testimonies, and it just adds to the credibility meter, right? So what you want to do is you want to add client testimonials, you want to highlight achievements, and you really want to make clear with people how they can work with you. And again, make it clear that there is a call to action. So what is the next step you want people to take? So that is the LinkedIn profile. So make sure that you optimize your LinkedIn profile before you start going into the content part. Because now we're going to go over the 40-40-20 content playbook. And the important thing here is that every piece of content has a specific goal. And broadly speaking, I'm going to unpack these in a second, but first I'm going to give you the broad overview. We have top of funnel content, which is content that allows you to build awareness with your audience. It introduces your brand to new audiences. We have middle of funnel content, which establishes authority. Here's the content where you demonstrate your expertise to build trust. And last but not least, we have the bottom of funnel content, which is driving conversions. And here you convert engaged prospects and engaged leads into paying clients. So here's how we can see it. It's really like a funnel. Like the people on top of the market, of course, need top of funnel content because they have no clue who you are. The people that are already a little bit considering your services need middle of funnel content, and the people who are almost close to converting need bottom of funnel content. But it's really important to know which piece of content serves which part, because otherwise you're just creating noise for the sake of creating noise. So let's start with top of funnel content. This is the content, like I said, where you create awareness. So the goal here is to bring new people into your world. So people that don't know you, they don't trust you, and they're not actively looking to buy yet, right? So the types of content that work on LinkedIn these days is educational content, right? So you want to teach your audience something valuable. And this can be done through listicles as well, like quick, digestible content that attracts engagement, personal stories where you just have a business lesson or something included. As you can see, adding visuals is super important. So this is a short form video. Side note here that in 2025, LinkedIn is definitely doubling down on short form video. So if you have the capacity and the resources to do short form video on LinkedIn, by all means, go do that. The other thing that we see performing very well is like the infographics, as you can see here, because it allows me to store a lot of information into the overview, and as you can see, I almost take up the whole feed. And the carousels, where it's like the PDFs, the slide decks that most people know, and they just allow me for a lot of like education at once. Something that you then want to avoid whilst you're doing top of funnel content on LinkedIn is doing too much top of funnel content, because if you're just creating top of funnel content for the sake of growing your audience but never really making an ask or never positioning yourself as the authority you are, it's very hard to sell something down the line. Of course, when you focus too much on like the vanity metrics like likes, growth, comments, etc., instead of attracting the right people. And of course, if you not tie your top of funnel content to your specific expertise, again, you will end up with the wrong people. So hopefully that's clear. Secondly, we have the middle of funnel content, where you start building trust and authority within your audience. And the goal here is to show that you're credible, solve real problems, and get real results. And if people engage with your top of funnel content but they don't see a clear reason to trust you, they will never convert. So you do need to have this middle of funnel content in order for them to move, in order for them to get close to working with you. So great examples here can be case studies, expert guides, and again, personal experience. So share real lessons, learn from working with clients, growing your business, and overcoming challenges, etc. And as you can see, this is something we call authority content. It's just basically writing about, okay, this is the work we've done with clients. So for example, we worked with Linda, email ghostwriter, and in a few weeks or in a few months, she created a new offer, sold a new client for $7,500. JP, one of our other guys, closed 3 clients in the first 2 months. Nicholas here launched his group program. He made over $32,000 in revenue in 8 weeks. And by me just telling the story about how that works, okay, with Nicholas we worked on X, Y, and Z. It positioned me as an expert because it shows that if I can get results with Nicholas, with JP, and with Linda, I must know something, right? Or the program must be doing well. If these people, different industries, like Linda is a ghostwriter, JP is a tech consultant, and Nicholas is a life coach, they all get results with the system on LinkedIn in their specific industry, right? So by me telling a story, by me breaking this down, I build authority, I build credibility, and I increase the trust with the people that see this content. And then something that you want to avoid as much is people go into middle funnel content too fast without having the top of funnel content in place. Because if no one has seen your content before with the top of funnel content, you go straight into like, hey, this is why you should trust me. It's hard, right? So make sure that you have a layered approach there. Also, whenever you are explaining your methods, make sure that the why is included, because trust comes from understanding, not just results. So in all these case studies and client stories, I share why we do certain things as well. And overcomplicating your content, don't make sure to do that. So whenever I'm like breaking this down, I'm making sure that it's very clear and understandable for people even a few steps earlier in the process. So that's the middle of funnel content. Super, super important to build trust and authority and credibility. And then last but not least, we're going to go to bottom of funnel content. And this is the content, of course, where you drive conversions. We're going to move warm leads into actions, whether that's booking a call, requesting more information, or engaging in direct DM conversations. And the content that works really well here is, it's similar. It's client testimonials like case studies, direct offers, and hand raiser posts. And as you can see in the example here, let me zoom in a little bit. This is a long client testimonial video with like, I think 14 or 15 clients just telling the results. This is a very sales post. You're like, hey, tomorrow this is launching. Make sure to hit it here. And something that we do when we're in like a conversion phase, we do a lot of LinkedIn lives because it gives us a window to engage people that are on the fence directly. So it's not necessarily a type of content, but it's something that's very important whenever you're in the process of selling your offers. So like I said, client testimonials, direct offers, and hand raiser posts, very, very important in order for you to convert the people that are close to buying. And then last but not least here, people jump to bottom of funnel content too fast because they were like, oh, I need to sell my offer. But if people don't really trust you, it's really hard to sell something on the internet, right? So you first have to get known through top of funnel content. Then you have to have people trust you through middle of funnel content before you can move them into conversion with the bottom of funnel content. And also people do post bottom of funnel content, but if the call to action is not clear, like the next step, it almost goes into the void, right? And last but not least, here, ignoring follow-up. So even when we post conversion content like this and we get warm inbound leads and people like, hey, raising their hand like, hey, this sounds something like I need, tell me more. If they ghost or they don't reply and we don't follow up, of course, we're leaving money on the table. So a quick recap of the 40-40-20 model. Like, you want to make sure that you have a good split, right? Because if you overload too much top of funnel content, you will attract an audience that will never buy from you. If you only post bottom of funnel content, you look like you're desperate for sales, plus you're not getting new people into your audience. And the 40-40-20 model works because it warms up your audience over time. So it attracts new people, builds trust, and converts. And so this means that 40% of your content is top of funnel, 40% of your content is middle of funnel, and 20% of your content is bottom of funnel. So this moves people from awareness to trust to action, and just all at the same time. And then last but not least, we're going to go over the 7-step DM framework, which is super, super important for you in your lead gen strategy for 2025. So success on LinkedIn is not necessarily about posting alone. DMs are super crucial too. But most people, they struggle with DMs because they either come off too salesy, they waste time on chit chat, so they become friend-zoned almost, or they have no clear structure to their outreach. And these are the three main concerns from all the people that we work with in our program. Whenever they come to us and like, hey, yeah, I tried LinkedIn DMs, but it didn't work for me. I'm like, okay, what did not work? They're like, yeah, I'm afraid I'm being too salesy. I'm being friend-zoned and I have no structure, so I'm basically winging it. And that's exactly where the 7-step DM LinkedIn protocol comes into. So high over, it's just, this is a setup. And bear with me for a second because I'm going to unpack each step one by one, plus give you exact examples. So in order for us to move from the first part of the conversation to booking someone on a call, we have 7 steps. Understanding the situation, defining the ideal situation, figuring out, okay, what are the past efforts and challenges, figuring out the frustrations, making sure we're a right fit, define their win and present the plan, and then invite them to a call. And if you follow this process to a T, you will go from ghosted to booked with confidence. So let's dive in. So the first part here is understanding their current situation. Because as Hormozi said it perfectly here, if you don't have any understanding, it's hard to sell, right? Before offering anything, you need to know what's going on in their world. So the goal here is to gather context without interrogating the person on the other hand of the line. So an example here could be, hey, could you share a bit more about your current situation? What challenges do you face currently? What are you working on right now? As you can see, some of the messages that we send a lead magnet out. It's like a conversation starter, and then the question is like to understand their situation. I'm like, hey, are you here for the content only, or is getting leads one of your main goals on LinkedIn? So it allows us to understand the other person, and from that we can have a conversation, right? Because with this DM framework, it's crucial to understand that we're not going to go into selling and pitching straight away. The first step is just about understanding and having a conversation. So a good thing to keep in mind here is that leads often think that their problem is one thing, but as you are the expert, as you're the service provider of some form, you often know that the real issue lies deeper, right? But your job here is to uncover the root problem by guiding the conversation strategically. Okay, so now we have done step 1, like understanding the situation. We're going to move into step 2, which is defining their ideal situation, right? Because people don't really buy services, they buy outcomes. So what you want to do is you need to uncover what their dream situation look like, because this really builds excitement and it moves from, okay, I'm in a position of frustration and pain right now, and I'm going to move to a position of pleasure and fulfillment, right? So questions you can ask here are, what would be your ideal situation for regarding topic? And that's of course tied to the service or the industry that you're in the next few months. Are there any specific goals you're aiming for? What does success look like for you? This one is a little bit more broad, but again, it might be a good question to just get more information from the lead. Examples could be, another example could be, what are the top three goals for LinkedIn right now, and how are they important for your business? So I'm really understanding, okay, where does this person want to go, right? And the goal here is to position yourself as the solution subtly, but because this allows you to shift the conversations towards the things they actually want and moving them away from this position of frustration and pain, which you did in step 1, right? Because that allows them to be more receptive to your approach. So that's step number 2, super important as well, because if they don't see a gap between where they are right now and where they want to go, they won't see the help, or the need for your help. And then as you're doing this, understanding from step one, the current situation, to their ideal situation, you will naturally learn about their past efforts, right? Because most people that are in a painful and frustrating situation have tried something to get out of that, right? Someone that is in a position of like has too much body weight and wants to lose weight, most likely their efforts already have involved some form of diet, some form of training, some form of fasting, some form of exercise, etc., right? So before you can pitch anything to anyone, you really want to understand that what have they already tried and what did not work, because this helps you avoid recommending solutions that already failed and position you and your approach as different. So things that you can ask, okay, what things have you already tried to solve this? What's your been experience with the strategy or tool that you mentioned before? What worked well, what did not? So example, I could ask, what have you tried so far to generate leads through LinkedIn? So for example, this lead said, okay, I'm in this position now that I want to grow my business through LinkedIn. Ideally, I get to a situation where I get 5 to 10 inbound leads per month. And I'm like, okay, cool, sounds good. What have you tried so far to do this, right? And something that you can try, like if they, anywhere in the process, they mention a competitor and that it didn't work, you can really highlight how your way of doing things is better. Not necessarily to shit on your competitor, but it's more like, okay, we do this in X, Y, and Z way because we see the results in this and that way, right? So step number 3, learn about their past efforts, super important. And whilst you're doing this, while you're learning about their past efforts, most of the time you will also learn about their frustrations, because if people talk about their past efforts, as they're still in this position of pain, they will usually come with frustrations, right? So here's important, because people make decisions emotionally and then justify them logically. So here's where you really want to dig deeper into their pain points, because the better you can do that, the more you can stir up this frustration and this agitation, the more urgency you create with the other person, and the more they're like, okay, I really need to solve this, right? Because it's really bothering and holding me back in life. So things you can ask, all right, what do you find most frustrating about your current approach? Is there something specific that's been holding you back? What are the biggest challenges in getting from A to B? And with A, I mean the current situation, the painful situation, and with B, I mean the ideal, the future situation. So the example here might be, what are the biggest challenges holding you right now from scaling it? And the insight here is that whenever they give you something, you want to use those words back to them later, because that's called mirroring, right? The moment you use the words of your prospect, your lead, and you like hold them back to them later, they really feel understood, and they're like, okay, I feel heard. This other person is listening to me, and that just makes this conversation go faster and better. And then now you have done a lot of understanding, right? You've understood where they're currently at. You understand where they want to go. You understand what they've tried to do, and you understand what their frustration is, right? And that allows you to step number 5, which you might have seen on the screen. It's where you assess the fit and the capabilities, because not every lead is a good fit, right? You really need to filter out unqualified prospects early to save time and effort. So for example, if you, with your process or what you offer, with your service, certain time commitment is involved, or certain assets need to be in place. Let's say you help someone with social media growth, they need to have an audience of some form, right? Or if you have a personal training offer, someone needs to do some exercise, so there needs to be some time commitment right there. So in this phase, you just really want to figure out, okay, the person I'm speaking to, okay, I know they have a problem, I know where they want to go, I know what they've tried, but do they have what it takes in order for me to come in and work with them? So an example you can see here on the screen, one of our old clients, Alex. So I asked him, would you be open to creating problem-solving content, strategically engaging with your right audience, and generating this ideal clients through your LinkedIn box? He's like, absolutely, I'm in. I'm looking for just needing guidance on how to head in that direction. So that's just a quality control, right? I'm like, hey, this is going to be pretty hands-on. Are you in or are you out? Does this sound like something you can commit to? And he said yes, and he's like, okay, let's do this. So this is a great stage where you can figure out, okay, are they a fit? If not, move on. Because wasting time on unqualified leads means that you have less time for the people that do have high interest in your service and offer, right? And then we go step number 6, and this is an interesting one, because this is where you make it their idea to work with you. So what you want to do here is you want to make up the plan and hold it in front of them. You're like, hey, if we work together on this, would it be a win for you? What would you think we should focus on first to get you to goal? So you really take a collaborative approach in order for you to work with them, right? So as you can see in the example here from another client with Cameron, like, hey, we help you create this funnel that generates 6 high-quality leads within 45 to 60 days by using content and outreach without having to spend the 2 to 3 hours on content or getting ghosted and after sending messages and requests. I say this because earlier on in the conversation, he told me the things that he hated. He was like, I'm wasting all this time on content, I'm sending all these messages, but I'm getting ghosts. So now I mirror it back to him because I'm like, hey, we're gonna build the system, it's gonna give you this results, but you don't have to do the things that you hate. And then I'm like, would that be considered a win for you? And he's like, yes. So now what I achieved buy-in from him. So instead of me just pitching him the plan, I'm like, hey, this is the plan we can work on together. Are you in, are you out? And this is, of course, key for early buy-in. So you really want to help your leads feel that the plan is theirs, making it more likely for them to move forward. And then step number 7, if you got to this way, if you think back of the staircase at the beginning, it's really like a funneled approach, right? Now it's time to transition from DM to call. So something you can say, very simple. Hey, first name, for example, hey Cameron, this all sounds good. Let's book a quick call to go over any questions and to start the enrollment. Hey, I think this was one of our clients, yeah. Hey, curious if you checked out the doc. Alternatively, if you want to book a call, check it here below. So I dropped the link. I shared them to the doc before. So in this case, the doc refers to the plan. So I went a little bit more extended. So I wrote the plan together. I put it in a document. I sent it to this guy. I'm like, hey, check it out. If you're in or you're out, let's do it. Here's the call link to check it out, to take the next steps. And of course, sending a doc can reduce call friction because then someone already knows, okay, this is the plan gonna be. But I would say test different approaches. So that's a 7-step process, guys. So if you think back of what I shared here, you really want to understand the situation. You want to make sure that you define the current situation, ideal situation. You want to figure out, okay, what have they tried so far? What are the things they hate doing? Are they a right fit? Define the plan, hold it in front of him, and then invite him to a call. So that's the best the LinkedIn lead gen strategy for 2025. So if you want to make this work, but you're serious about getting the next step, this is the proven system that has helped our clients generate over $1.55 million in revenue via LinkedIn alone. If you need our help to get to 10K plus months on LinkedIn, just like the examples that I shared below, either message me on LinkedIn, my name is Jesse van Breugel, or book a call with the link below. So under this video, you'll find a link that takes you to our Calendly, and with that you can just book a call with our team and see if we can help you get more leads and close more clients via LinkedIn. And if that's been helpful, drop a thumbs up or drop a like, and then I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.